On this episode of Retro Funhouse, 400 games in one mini handheld console. Let's find out how good it is on this episode. Now, how good is this little 400 games in one, very light handheld? This is a Tech Solutions little mini handheld. As you can see, it looks like the Game Boy, except it has 4 buttons. Takes, I think, 2 AA. No, actually, it's a battery. It's chargeable. I forgot. This is a chargeable battery, as you can see right there. It's very, like I said, extremely light. It's pretty close. I mean, look at that. Double Dragon 2: The Revenge, 1989. It's got the options here to play. There's not a big difference in it. I mean, gameplay on this is a lot of fun. There's a lot to it. It's just like playing the real deal. This is dead on NES. And Double Dragon 2 to me was probably one of the better ones of all the Double Dragon games. Turtles 1 for the NES. As you can see, that's the import of it. It's looks like it's, I could be wrong, could be Japanese or Chinese, but it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES, as you can tell. And this is exactly like playing the US version. I mean, it's the exact same thing, exact same features. And I just got ran over. Probably why it is for this console or this handheld, which is, I mean, like I said, I paid 10 bucks for it just to get an idea of how good it would be. And I keep getting run over. It's no problems at all playing it. I mean, it's for a $10 investment, it's not bad. This is something. I always enjoyed rescuing the prisoners, even though they would run away, and sometimes they would get killed, and you were just like, what are you doing? Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers is another game that is really fun. If you've never played Chip 'n Dale, this is a really fun game for the NES. I was really glad to see this one as well on here. I was really actually shocked to see this one on here. But any of the Disney ones, in my opinion, they were really good games. They had Chip 'n Dale 2, which I've never played. Chip 'n Dale's Rescue Rangers, the second one. And looking at that blimp, that reminded me for a moment of the Turtle blimp. So this is an interesting game that I'm actually going to play quite a bit. This seems like a totally different game compared to the first Chip 'n Dale's game. Who did not like Blaster Master, right? This is such a throwback game. I did not play this game a whole lot though on the NES until later on in years, but once you play it for the first time, it's a game you don't want to ever stop playing. Times where the screen will kind of be a little glitchy, kind of like an old TV set with an antenna, you know, where it would kind of like get fuzzy or what have you. So that I have noticed that issues here and on this side at times, where the camera will do that or the screen will do that. But for a $10 handheld, you can't beat it. Now this, I mean, as you can see, look how close my thumbs are on this. So there are times where it's kind of hard to operate the handheld, but I mean, all in all, it works well, works good. It's got some fun games on it, and I'm enjoying it. Does this not look like a Contra game? I mean, this came out in 1990, Crossfire. I've never heard of this game, but I played it before off camera, and this is a really interesting game. Let me know if this was on an actual console, guys, because I'm not 100% sure. But just looking at the graphics on it, the features, and just immediately getting an idea that this was like a Double Dragon / Contra kind of game. Because you see this guy that we play as, I mean, it's kind of got a Double Dragon feel, but it's also got that Contra mix to it. So I'm not 100% sure if this was ever an actual release cartridge game. I mean, it's an interesting game at that for sure. Let's see, you can toss grenades to the other side over there. You know, these guys can shoot you. You don't instantly die, which is interesting, but it's also a good thing. See, there's guard towers up there. That looks like a camera that's shooting at you, but that actually is a guard tower. But this is a really interesting game. So again, like I said, let me know in the comments if this is a game that actually got a cartridge release or not, or is this just a game that someone created? Because if this is just a game someone created, I'm impressed. So as you can see in just some of the clips of this 400 games in one mini handheld, again by Tech Solutions. I've never heard of it. I think they do a lot of these little kind of knockoff type gaming, plug and plays, what have you. But this one, in my opinion, is actually pretty fun. Some of the games I found on there that are NES related, Dig Dug's on there, Spy vs. Spy, Solomon's Key, Mighty Final Fight, Fantasy Zone, Chippendales Rescue Rangers 1 and 2, Bubble Bobble 1 and 2 is on there as well. The Snow Bros is on there, Tom and Jerry, Cubert, Miss Pac-Man, Burger Time, Excite Bike, Galaga, Mappy, Popeye, Space Invaders, which Space Invaders is, it's you kind of see it ported on a lot of plug and plays, what have you, but still, Space Invaders is Space Invaders, right? 1942. There is an interesting Pikachu game that is on there, and it's basically a Tetris style game, and Pikachu is on it, so it's a pretty, it is what it is. You can't get much more advanced when it comes to games that are like Dr. Mario or Tetris. So this Pikachu game that's on here is basically just like those. The Mickey Mouse game is on there. Friday the 13th, Paperboy. There's some interesting other games like, bowling, Chinese checkers, chess. Spy Hunter is another one that's on that's really good. There was a Transformers game on there. You play as Optimus Prime. It's kind of hard, but you do get to transform, and you can hear the Transformers original theme from the cartoon on the game. That was pretty cool. Tiger Healy is on there, and some weird games that I noticed. There's just 2 or 3 that I did catch my eye that were really weird titles. Played them for a quick second or two, and they were Fruit Pig. I've never heard of a game called Fruit Pig. Aladdin 3. It's not Disney. It could be, but it's not. It was a pretty standard kind of game, nothing hard. It's just called Aladdin 3. Then the weird one was called Nuts Milk. Yeah, Nuts Milk. That's weird. So those were 3 weird games that I did catch on there that I wrote down. Other than that, some of the other games that I thought were kind of interesting, I did play. I didn't put them on clip. It was a game called Muscle. It was basically, I believe it's like the NES version of the Muscle game, the wrestling game, like the little action figures that came out back in the day. That game was not easy to play, at least on the handheld. Graphics were a little weird. I couldn't tell how to grapple, how to do anything. So Muscle was a very strange game. There's also some games on there called Ninja 1. I thought it was like Ninja Gaiden or something, but it wasn't. It was just some random ninja in a field, and these other ninjas kind of come out. It was weird. It was just a standard game that someone just created. But this is the one that caught my eye the most. This game, I didn't realize it until I flipped through it, and I seen it, and I was like, oh, okay, it's got to be the second one, the one that everyone knows. No, this was the game.
Oh my god.
And now the one game I did not think I would ever see because I didn't know it existed, and it's right here, The Goonies. That's right, you're probably thinking like I was thinking when I saw this. Okay, Goonies 2 NES. No, this is the Goonies version for the Nintendo that only released in Japan for whatever reasons. Why they didn't release this, I'm not real sure, but I'm guessing maybe they just thought it wouldn't do very good here in the States. But I wish this was the game we would have gotten. Here, you have to pick up these bombs in order to blow up these, walls with the faces on them, to pick up keys as you move from one stage to another. And one of the interesting things about this game, as I've been playing it off camera, is every stage is very similar to the movie. I mean, you're at the lighthouse stage where you're in that restaurant. Where the Fratellis were at. There's one of the Fratelli brothers right there running around. He'll shoot at you. The music in the background, that is the Cyndi Lauper's song from the soundtrack of the Goonies. And just hearing that little tune playing really puts you in the Goonies mood. I just rescued one of the kids from the movie. One of the Goonies, of course. But there you have it, guys. That's my 400 games in one tech solution handheld review. For me, is this a good game? Like I said, I paid $10 for it. I'm excited for it. I enjoy this game. I like the fact that there are a lot of NES titles on here. And for me to see this Goonies game, the game that we all should have gotten as kids, compared to Goonies 2, which I'm not knocking Goonies 2, but I never could get to the Goonies feel. This is the game I wish would have been on the NES for us when the Goonies was, out and popular. Not that it's not popular today. I'm still a Goonie fan, and Goonies never die. But to enjoy these games from the NES, and there are some random games on here that are just like ridiculous. But for me, the Goonies on here, the Japanese version, makes it all worth the while. So until then, guys, for me, from a 1 to 10, I'd give it about an 8, just because the screen issues I mentioned and the configurations here when you're playing can be a little too close for comfort. But all in all, worth buying. Great price. A lot of fun games. And the Goonies made it all worthwhile. Till next time, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. See you next time.